Technology, diversity, wine, the redwoods, and everything in between. Welcome to the Northern California Bay Area, and one show takes you inside the real estate that makes it all happen. This is By the Bay.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to By the Bay. I'm Dan Ancheta, your host, and today I am with Brent Mosbacher from Coldwell Banker, and we're excited to have him here. Brent's one of my great referral partners, and we're excited to learn more about him. So, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us about you.
So I'm Brent. I'm a Petaluma resident, and I've been selling real estate here for 7 years now. Father of two beautiful children, one an almost 4-year-old, and married to my wife Carly. I service the North Bay. My main focus areas are here in Petaluma, Pen Grove, Cotati, Roanoke Park, and Novato. That's kind of my wheelhouse 101, and it's been great, getting to work with you over those 7 years.
Yeah, awesome. So how did you wind up in Petaluma again?
I went to Cal Poly, fell in love with my wife Carly down there, and her family's from Novato, so we eventually migrated back to the North Bay from San Luis Obispo County, and I took a job with the city of Novato back in 2012 to plant some roots up here.
Cool, nice. So you mentioned your target, kind of your clients are mostly in Petaluma, kind of southern Sonoma County, and then Novato. That's kind of a common territory, right? What are the trends that you're seeing in terms of buyers and sellers in that market?
I definitely see a slowdown in our market, over the last month, especially as the interest rates have peaked and summer's kind of approached. Kind of had a mixture of things going on. Buyers are back on the sidelines a little more, with a little reservation in comparison to when we were, seeing a property the second it hit the market. We're definitely slowing down a bit, and I think buyers are really just trying to evaluate where the temperature of the market is, and kind of playing the math game with the rates now.
Okay. What advice would you give someone who's thinking about selling their house or someone who's thinking about buying their house right now?
While we're listing our houses, I'm having to have conversations with sellers about expectations. The expectation of seeing multiple offers, the home selling in a week for way above asking is starting to really slow down. The comps generally we would use would be dating back to maybe 3 months because of the rate increase, the inflation that's going on. We're having to make that a little narrower. I wouldn't be looking at comps anywhere really further than about 3 to 4 weeks to give a representation.
Pretty tight time frame.
Yeah, what the market's really doing. So, and it's key that you list at an appropriate price if you are anxious to sell and generate interest.
Are you still seeing multiple offers on your listings, or is it kind of one and?
It's a combo. It's a price point thing. Some of the more affordable houses, if here in the Petaluma region, if you have something under $900,000 and it's priced accordingly, you could still yield some multiple offers. You're not seeing 7, 8, 9
Right.
offers. Maybe you see 1 to 3 in that first week.
Right.
It seems like more so than ever. About week 2 is when we're seeing a lot of activity, because some of the buyers are kind of holding back to see, are they gonna get?
How hot is this gonna be?
Yeah, and
it's interesting. I was talking to a younger realtor, a newer realtor, and they're like, "This is the second weekend of having an open house at this house. It's like, I've never seen that before." It's like, that's kind of normal to have a house listed for 10, 12, 14, maybe 30 days is maybe normal. What is normal in terms of, like, put aside the last couple of years, what's a normal time for a house to be on the market?
Well, I would say we were pretty darn spoiled, the sellers in general, for the last 3 years. I mean, the inventory was tight, the migration to the North Bay was heavy, and kind of had the pick of the litter on the offers coming through. Now I would say, if a 3-week period is probably pretty common, as opposed to, last year, average market, before you had an offer in was 5 to 8 days. Now it
Right.
can take you 2 or 3 weeks.
I was seeing listed on Tuesday, open house Saturday, Sunday, offers Monday morning, in contract Monday and super tight close time frame. So like maybe 21 days from the time you list the house to hand over the keys.
Yeah,
That's like abnormal.
Yeah, everybody was working at full cylinders for the last couple of years. So
should a seller expect like 60 days from the time they list? So if it's like list 3 weeks to get something and then like a 30-day close, it's like 51 days. Is that a more normal, like 45 days? What would you, if you're setting someone's expectations, where would you lead them to?
Well, I think the expectation is in the price to start.
Okay.
Because if you're shooting for the moon, your days on market could be much longer if you're really pigeonholing who's going to buy this house. If you price a bit aggressively, hopefully we'll get some emotion driven into this, and it just kind of depends on the layout of the house too. Certain houses are selling still very rapidly. Right. It seems like if people are going to pay top dollar right now, they're hoping that the homes that are redone are moving quicker. If they need some work, buyers are definitely on the fence of, all right, I'm already paying this much to get in the house, my interest rate is X, it doesn't leave me much wiggle room to remodel a bathroom, paint the exterior,
Sure.
do the landscaping. So the expectation, I would say, is for a seller is, you really have to look at the numbers, and if you want to sell quickly, you're going to have to price appropriately. If you're just kind of throwing it out there to see who might buy your house,
Sure.
Just expect to be on the market a bit longer.
Yeah. And then price point has a lot to do with that too, right? So something that's under 600,000 is going to get a lot of attention. Something that's under 900 is getting a lot of attention. Something that's 2.5 million has a smaller buyer pool, maybe sits a little bit longer. Is that what you're saying?
To a degree. It's funny, once you get to those luxury properties, a lot of those are still handled with cash. And so the cash buyer isn't as influenced on the interest rates. Their investments might not be doing as well in the stock market, so it might hold them back a little,
Sure.
make them a little more reserved on their spending. Those are kind of unique properties in general, because not everybody has the ability to
Write a check.
Make that happen.
So you mentioned earlier about people coming to the area. I guess I'm wondering, who, like your sellers, where are they going? Are they moving up to a smaller house to bigger house? Are they relocating out of the area? And kind of same question for your buyers. Where are people coming from? What's the trend that you see there?
More so. So we're about 30% down this year on inventory in the North Bay from last year. So
wow,
we have a very
even tighter market.
Yeah, our first quarter was very limited. Second quarter got a lot of the inventory, but we're still, it's in a seller's market, because just basic supply and demand. In regards to where my sellers have gone, a lot are leaving the state. It's not too sensible for a lot of the sellers right now to sell here, rebuy here. So they're either leaving the county, and going to a more affordable foothill town,
sure.
or Redding, or up towards Sacramento, or they're headed out to Texas or Idaho, and Montana's become
Okay.
Last year,
I see some Washington. I see some, Texas and
Nashville was a big place last year. People were going to. So, it does seem like people are leaving the North Bay to get out of the state. In regards to the buyer pool, since the pandemic and the ability to work from home, the remote working it's what's driving people from San Francisco, Southern Marin, the Peninsula. A lot of those folks are want the quality of life that Marin and Sonoma County offers. It's slower pace, a little less populated, and all the amenities that surround us are.
Yeah, it's interesting. It leads me to the question of so people are coming from Silicon Valley, for example. They work in tech, whatever, and they can work remotely. Why are they choosing Petaluma or Southern Sonoma County, Novato to move to?
I think there's something to be said when you can just pull up to your grocery store. It's easy. Walk 20 feet to your car, you unload it.
Right.
There's the amenities that we have surrounding us in wine country, the beach access, the friendly downtown atmosphere. We have a lot at our disposal, and it's not overcrowded. And I think people enjoy having a little more space.
Right. Where do you guys like to go?
Well, with a 1 and a 4-year-old, if we're going out as a family, Going downtown to Brewster's is always fun because the kids can run around a bit. They have live music on the weekend circuit, and the kids like to dance. If we're going to just a date night, my wife and I like Reese BC a lot. You can go in there. It's an intimate little spot, and Wild Goat Gnocchi's really good. So.
Nice. That's funny. Yeah. Cool. Have you been to the new Crooked Goat?
Yeah, and that beer is fantastic.
Yeah. It's cool what they do with that building. I really like how they're expanding the downtown. You're talking about the downtown friendliness, right? It used to just be kind of one street, and then now it's kind of growing, and there's more variety and kind of cool spots there now.
Oh yeah, you can spend a whole weekend, dining or going out for entertainment downtown very easily, and it's definitely awesome to see how the river's being used for recreation. Since they dredged it, it's you see more paddle boards, more
like the
kayaks.
float house out there now, so you can go if you're visiting or even if you live here, you can go rent a paddle board or a little boat and go take it out on the river.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
It's
fun to walk over the bridges.
Yeah,
especially with the kids. They love it.
The kids love it. So totally. So what should a buyer or seller be thinking about right now in terms of the future? Where do you see things going in the next 6 to 12 months? What kind of project out for us if someone's watching this and they're thinking about buying or selling? What advice would you give them to be prepared? Where do you think the market's going to be then, and what should they be thinking about?
Yeah, for the buyers, especially is just analyze. If the North Bay is where you see yourself, you have a solid job, you're rooted, and you see staying here for a good chunk of time. Analyzing what you're spending to rent and what it would take to buy. You have to look at those numbers, and if it makes sense to buy and you're situated, regardless if the market's cooling off or not, you might have more of an opportunity to get a house than you had. I'm no, rate guru, but I'd expect at some point they'll come back down. The market's just everything's trying to get it on a slowdown, with inflation and the housing market.
Sure.
So at some point our rates, I do feel, will retract a bit. So there might be some opportunity when folks buy to refinance, which you could talk to more than I could.
Totally.
But I would just focus on investing in yourself. So if your rent's $4,000 a month, but you could buy the same house for 42 all in,
right.
It's kind of a no-brainer, especially because rates are so high. Rents are so high. For sellers, I just look at the stats of what things are selling for. Don't get caught up too much on your thoughts of what your house is valued at. It's a numbers game, especially right now.
Sure.
A lot of buyers are analyzing the numbers. I would put out that extra effort to prepare your house for market. We're not necessarily in the same stage where you can just slap the sign up in the front yard and sell.
Yeah.
I would be encouraging them to do some pre-inspections, correct some of the items that are on there, making sure you're getting your house clean.
The more turnkey, the better. Right.
Yeah, life's busy, especially, majority of people don't want to do a fixer-upper. There's some people that have that ability.
Yeah, for sure.
But every fixer comes with finances, and if you're paying for that labor's high. So it's everything a seller can do to make it as easy for a buyer to transition in, I would encourage them to do so.
Cool. Right on, man. Well, anything else that you want to tell the audience? Any other wisdom to share?
No, just Zillow is not a realtor. They're not a
Have a local professional.
Yeah, they're not out there looking at homes. Zestimates and Redfin estimates are not accurate.
Sure.
I get that a lot. What Zillow says. That Zillow doesn't walk in houses. They don't know condition of houses. They don't know the market. So.
Right. And there's so much nuance between different parts of town, and east side Petaluma to west side Petaluma are completely different markets.
Absolutely.
Right.
So that's one thing that I would have some reservation on people having confidence in, and call somebody that
talk to your local expert who knows exactly what they're talking about. Get a consultation and work with someone who's here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great advice.
So,
cool,
discount brokerages oftentimes will give you a discount service. So.
I love it. Thanks for coming in, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, for sure.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Stay up to date with Bay Area real estate. Hit subscribe now if you haven't already. Did you enjoy this episode? We love reviews in the Apple Podcasts app. We'll read yours on the show. This is By the Bay.